Good morning and welcome to Yin Yoga. This is kind of the first week I'm teaching where I have my first full week where I have my nice holiday treat in here. My husband and I are November 1st decorators. So it took us 8 days to decorate our house, but we are all done. So I'm happy to have Christmas tree. This also means that I have unpacked my nice University of Kentucky Santa hat. And I am wearing that today because at the time of this recording, Kentucky basketball plays Duke University tonight. And as a Kentucky fan, I would really like for Kentucky to win. So this is just a lighthearted little manifestation and intention to set. You're welcome to have the same intention today for class or something else that's lighthearted and make you smile as well. Nothing too serious. So whenever you're ready, find that comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Thinking about your ears, your shoulders, and your hips in alignment. We're going to zip up from the pubic bone behind the navel, belly button into the spine. We'll take a slight tuck in the chin here. Good. So we'll settle in. Good. Bringing the awareness to the body. Is there anywhere you could soften a little bit more? So it's not through the face. Sometimes we hold tension in the tongue and we don't really realize that. The shoulders, the hips. Sometimes we hold tension in the belly and we don't always realize that either until we bring our attention there. Good. And once we've released, bring that awareness to the breath. Some nice big deep breaths, inhaling and expanding that rib cage. And letting it all go. Big inhale and expand. And letting it all go. Good. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, and lengthen, nice and tall, touching palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. So as we set the intention, you know mine, it's for Kentucky win against Duke tonight. If you're a Kentucky fan, that might be a good one for you as well. Or maybe you're a different kind of sports fan. Maybe you hate sports and could care less. So maybe you have a different intention set for you. And that is always okay as well. And then from here, once you're ready, we'll inhale, take the palms back up, turning palms away, growing taller from crown to tail as we bring those arms down. Good. Now we will go into a little bit of a shoulder opener here when we do one of our hip openers. Let's just take the arms out to the side. Let's just get some rotation here. Good. And then from here, we'll come into our goal post. Good. So try to keep the rib cage in as we take the elbows and the forearms forward. As you do this, you want to try to separate the shoulder blades. And then as you open, see if you can try to touch them together. So you really want some opening through here and some opening through that back body. Good. And you can do this to the breath. Good. From here, we'll take the arms out, turn the palms up, taking hands to the shoulders. So we're going to do that a little bit differently now. Good. And then from here, just take that right into some shoulder circles. Good. And then maybe in the opposite direction. Good. Okay. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, we're going to take a side bend to the left. Reach. Good. Reach to that opposite side. Gaze is where you need it. Breathe and expand. Good. And we're going to open up in here into a little bit of a flow before we hold. So from here, inhale, exhale, maybe we get a C curve roll. Inhale and maybe we open. And exhale, maybe we roll. And inhale, open. Good. This time when you take a C curve roll, maybe pause for a moment. I'm still breathing and expanding that rib cage. And then inhale as you lengthen. Good. Maybe exhale, taking it back. Maybe looking back there. Again, breathe and expand. And then inhale and lengthen, exhale, engage. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale, exhale. We'll take that right into the other side, reaching over, get that nice side bend. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll start with that little flow. So big inhale, exhale, we'll get that C curve roll. Inhale and we'll open. And exhale, C curve roll. Inhale to open. Exhale, C curve roll. We're going to hold it here for a moment. Breathe and expand. And then inhale and lengthen. And then exhale, taking it all the way back. Pausing here for a moment. Breathe and expand. Good. And then we're coming back to the side and coming back up. Reach, reach, reach. And we'll take that down. Good work. So maybe just get a few little shoulder rolls in here in one direction and then the other. Maybe a little spinal roll. Just something to feel good. Good. We're going to go into a child's pose here. We're going to start with this child's pose for 3 minutes. So be mindful of your knees. And we're going to do something here too that might make this a little bit easier as well. So you can take your knees together as wide as the mat or somewhere in between. And before I decide where I take my arms, we're just going to kind of do a little bit of dynamic movement here. So I'm just going to kind of move forward just a little bit, and then I'm going to move back just a little bit, and forward just a little bit, and back just a little bit. One more time, forward just a little bit, and then back a little bit. Good. Now find your child's pose here. Good. Arms can be long in front of you. If your shoulders don't like that yet, you can take your hands to your ankles. You can also put any support under here that you may need because we're going to be here for those 3 minutes. So getting trusty timer going here. Good. Yeah, now remember, even here, we're going to be here 3 minutes. So maybe if you went to your deepest child's pose back there, maybe lift out of it just a little bit. Spend a little bit of time here first. And then your body and your breath will let you know when you can come back and sink back a little bit deeper. So we always want to give the body some space to ease in. Could you still draw up from the pubic bone behind the navel so belly button is in? As we start to go into the second minute, can you reconnect with your breath, expanding that rib cage? On the inhale. We're halfway there. So as a general reminder, in this pose and any pose we do today, if you experience any pain, numbness, tingling, burning, you can not maintain a good steady breath, then it is time for you to back off or come out completely. Listening to your body and honoring where you are in the moment will always get you farther than trying to plow through and force your body into something that it's not ready for just yet. 30 seconds. $15 seconds. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So from here, just like when we come in, we want to gently come out of here because some of our joints and those areas might be a little bit vulnerable. So I'm going to move forward. I'm going to take my knees out of the rotation that I had them in, and I'm just going to come down here and find a nice little crocodile pose. So just releasing here. Some people, like myself, it feels good to give yourself a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle of the low back. When you're ready, knowing you can stay in crocodile as long as your body needs you to be here. You always have that permission. We are going to transition moving back into that tiptoe balance. So hands are going to come under your shoulders here to help you. Good. Finding all fours. I'm actually going to come forward a little bit so I don't run out of mat space. And then I'm just going to tuck my toes here, and I'm just going to walk it back, finding tiptoe balance. Now, a couple things you can do here. If you are good in your balance, the closer you take your feet and your legs together, the more challenging this will become. And then you want to think about a tall spine here as well. Okay, so this is one way to do it. Some of us need to take hips, knees, and toes hip width apart. Some of us need a block or two in the front, depending on what or how many you have to help with balance. Some of us need one on each side to help us with balance. So just 1 minute from right here. Staying with the breath, staying with the core. So thinking about zipping up. 30 seconds. Good. Coming back to that intention. A fun one, or maybe a little bit more of a serious one. When we're ready, we're going to carefully come out of here. So I use 2 blocks here. So I'm just going to kind of use those to support me as I come forward. Good. I'm going to just place those out of my way. I'm going to come forward. I'm going to untuck my toes. And one more time, I'm just going to slide down here into a little crocodile pose. And then if you want to, if it would feel good to you, as you're kind of relaxing a little bit, take one ankle and just kind of roll that in one direction, maybe a point and a flex, and then maybe the other side. Good. From here, when you're ready, we will transition in the way that's best for your body. So some of you are going to come up here, moving through a tabletop, coming to a seat. Some of you might roll over to your side and come up a different way. If it's safe for you, then it's all good. So I'm going to bring my blanket back in here to sit on. Now, a pillow or a bolster cushion, depending on how high you need to sit, is also appropriate. Good. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to sit on the edge of my blanket. I'm going to take my right leg forward, and I've got flexion in the feet so you can see my little toes. Good. And then I'm going to take my left foot on the inside of this thigh. Now I'm going to slightly square off a little bit here. So I'm going to take, because my right leg is forward, I'm going to take that right hip back, and my left hip is going to come forward a little bit when I do that. So it's a light squaring off. It's not an extreme square off, okay? Also note, if you're really tight in the back body, or still even in the low back, support this knee with something under here just so that you don't have to think about it. But we're also going to go take this into a shoulder opener as well. So I'm going to take my arms out to the side. My right leg is forward. I'm going to take my right arm on top. Some of you, maybe a little bit of a hug or a wrap here is all you need when we start to hinge forward. Others are going to come into this full little eagle wrap here or shoelace wrap. So find where you need to be here. Good. And then from here with a nice tall spine, zipping up that front body. Inhale, exhale, hinging from the hips. Get that fold. Good. And we'll be here for 3 minutes. Usually helps a little bit better when I have our timer in a place where I can see it. Good. Good. So remember, when you fold in, give yourself some space to ease in deeper if your body wants you to do that. So I'm not at my full. I'm probably at about 90% or so. I'm still breathing and expanding. Now remember, if there, this can be intense on the shoulders here too, just like it can be on the low body and the back of the leg. So if you need to back off or come out of something, then listen to yourself and do so. We're in the 2nd minute. Good. We're in the final minute. As we're in the final 30 seconds, if you're still with me, could you maybe find just a little bit more length in that spine? That doesn't necessarily mean fold deeper. It just means, can you find a little bit more length? In 10 seconds. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. From here, I'm going to carefully come out of there. I'm going to carefully undo my arms. I'm just going to kind of shake them out a little bit here. Good. And then from here, good. We are going to switch sides. But before we switch sides, if it would feel good to you, just get a gentle rotation on one side. And then maybe you would like a gentle rotation to the other side. And then we'll reset for the other side. So I'm going to take my left leg long now. I'm going to bring my right foot in. Good. I'm going to readjust how I'm sitting on my blanket here. So again, think about a little bit of a square off. It's very subtle. So this time the left hip's going to come back a little bit, right hip's going to come forward just a little bit here. Support this knee if you need to. And then from here, good. My left leg is forward. So now my left arm's going to be on top. Find a hug or a wrap. Okay. Find what works for you. Zipping up through that front body. Big inhale, exhale. Good. We'll hinge and take that fold. 3 minutes. Remember, don't fold all the way. Go to about your 90. Breathe and expand. Good. We're moving into the second minute. We're halfway there. Steady and at ease in the pose. And as we enter the final minute, think about one more time. Think about, could you lengthen the spine just a little bit more here? So not necessarily folding and rounding deeper, but could you find just a little bit more length there? Thirty seconds. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Carefully come out. As you come out, we'll carefully undo. Just give yourself a little bit of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. Now, before we get into some deeper hip openers here to prepare for our peak pose, if it would feel good to you once again, to take a gentle rotation on one side and a gentle rotation to the other side. Good. From here, I'm going to take both legs long for a minute. Maybe a little bit of a shake, shake, shake. Good. We're going to come to all fours. So we're going to come to pigeon, and we're going to do our pigeon the way that we've kind of started doing it. So we'll do high pigeon first, finding that extension, and then lower pigeon if you want to take that there. So I'm going to start by taking my right knee forward. Good. So right behind the wrist. And then you want an angle, some kind of an angle. Everyone's going to have a different angle with that right shin. And I'm just going to let myself kind of glide back here. So remember, if you're really jacked up under this right hip, support that with a pillow or a folded blanket. Good. So I'm drawing up and in. I'm going to get that slight square off. So my right hip's going to come back just a little bit. Left hip's going to come forward. My front body is engaged. I'm relaxing through my shoulders, maybe shining my heart just a little bit more forward here. Good. So we'll be here for 2 minutes. Think about your weight distribution, even up here, is through center, not dumping everything over into that hip. Reconnecting with intention. So maybe you're not a Kentucky fan. That's okay. Maybe you're not a basketball fan. That's okay too. Maybe you're a football fan. So bringing in maybe something joyous about that. So it can be something more recent that happened with your team. Or maybe in the past with your team. So my favorite NFL team is the New Orleans Saints. Long story about that. But it was a great, joyous celebration when they won the Super Bowl after Katrina because New Orleans really, really needed that win. They needed something positive and the morale boost after that horrible tragedy that happened. So that was just a great sports experience. You might have another sporting experience. Maybe it's watching your kids play sports. Maybe when you played sports. Good, we're halfway there. So often not thought of as a sport, but it is horse racing. It was a great day. I was so excited when I walked away from Keeneland once with 25 extra cents in my pocket. I didn't lose anything. I gained 25 cents and I was so excited. Good. We're in the final minute. Good. And so because we're in the final minute here, I'm going to give you the option. Do you want to stay up or do you want to come down for another couple minutes? So be mindful of you, where you need to be. Now I'm going to stop right here with my forearms. Some people can and like to come all the way down here, forehead on the ground. That's fine too. Honor where you are in the moment. So another friendly reminder here, because this is a hip opener that can be quite intense. If you feel pain, numbness, tingling, burning, you know that you can't maintain good form, you can't maintain that good steady breath, back off or come out completely. Good, final minute from here. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you had any props underneath that right hip, we will move those out of the way here. We're going to carefully transition over into a half frog on this side. So I'm going to carefully take my hands up. Good. And I'm just going to kind of ease this right leg back for a moment. And I'm going to bring my left knee up here a little bit for support. And I'm just going to reach that right leg back for a moment here. Good. Now then from here, coming to all fours, I'm going to come belly down. And as I come belly down, good, I'm going to pull this right knee up. So same thing as if we were in full frog here. So my black pants aren't the best example, but you want hip and knee in that alignment, knee ankle in that alignment. Okay. If you need to prop something, a little bit of a blanket up on that knee to kind of hold it up a little bit, if you need that support, we'll take that support. We're going to be here for 1 minute. Good. 30 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So from here, I'm just going to take that leg back. I'm going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. Hands come under the shoulders. Press back into a child's pose here or a half child's pose. Find what your body needs. So for me, it's kind of a half child's pose with a little bit of a round in it. So find the transition that your body needs here. Good. And when you're ready, we'll take that all to the other side. So coming into the high pigeon here, I'm going to come back forward. I'm going to bring my left knee behind my left wrist. Good. I'm finding an angle in the shin. So heel's going to come in the direction of this hip crease. It does not have to touch it, but try not to be on your calf muscle here either. And you might look and feel completely different on this side than the other side. So for this side, I'm a little bit tighter. So I'm bringing in this blanket here to start underneath that left hip. Good. And then from here, my left hip's going to come back, right hip's going to come forward. I'm shining my heart forward. I'm nice and supported. We'll do 2 minutes here. Good. So with this extension, because you're in extension, even though you're in a hip opener as well, you want to keep that belly button in so we don't dump into the low back. So because it's kind of a little dump, but if I'm supported, then my form is better. My back feels better when I'm supported. Breathe, come back to intention. Good. 15 more seconds being up here. Good. So now we're at the complete halfway. So you can stay up if this is what your body needs you to do, or maybe you're going to carefully come down a little bit here for the last bit. So find what you need. Good. One final minute going here. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll carefully move any props out of the way that we use. We're going to carefully come out of here. Good. And so as I carefully transition, and the way you transition might not be the way that I just transitioned, to transition in the way that's best for you. I'm just going to extend that left leg long here for a moment. Good. And then from here, I'm just going to turn around as we get half frog pose on this side. So I'm just going to come onto the belly. Good. And then I'm just going to bring that left knee up. So you've got left knee and hip. You've got knee and ankle right here. We'll be here for 1 minute. Thirty seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. I'm just going to carefully lengthen up there. Hands under shoulders. Take it back, little child's pose. Find what your body needs you to have, and notice if it feels different to you now that you've balanced out both sides than maybe that when we did this before. So I feel a lot more balanced after doing this side than I did on the other side. So from here, good. Now we're going to set up for that full frog. So for me, I like to have a little bit of knee cushion on this one. So I'm going to undo a couple of my blankets here. And I'll bring in another blanket. All right, now that I know that I've got my knees are going to have the support that they need on this harder surfaced floor, I don't know if I'm going to need bolster cushion here support or a folded blanket, or maybe I won't need anything today. I'm not really exactly sure. So I'm just going to bring them up so that they are within my reach in case I do need them. Good. So from here, we're going to try this one for 4.5 minutes. So be mindful of that. And remember, if you need to completely come out of here, if you need to come out and just go back to the half and half, feel free to do that. So be mindful of yourself. This can be another one of those intense ones. So I'm going to start at all fours. Good. And remember, we're still trying to keep that hip and knee and ankle in alignment here. So I'm just going to let my knees just kind of slide out here. Good. Now I want to be mindful because a lot of people tend to come back a little bit here. Think about coming a little bit more forward when in doubt. And then there's a few people that like to come a little bit more forward. You can come back a little bit here. So kind of know where your limitations are. Remember, we don't want to come into the full here right off the bat. So I'm just going to kind of support myself with my folded blanket here. Good. And then I'm going to support myself a little bit with my forearms as well as I start. Good. And again, just a little bit of a posture check. You want hip, knee, 90 degrees, knee, and ankle. Good. And toes are turned out away from the body. Breathe and expand. Good. So if you're somewhere and you've got your head supported on one side, you might want to consider changing that to the other side about halfway through as well. I'll give you the halfway point when we get there. Good. We're into the second minute. Remember, this can be a very intense pose. Mindful how you feel. It is a hip opener, so we do want to be mindful as to how that feels in our joints. Sometimes if knees are not properly supported, it can be hard on them. We also want to think about the low back here. So a lot of people kind of come and they're kind of turned up and they've got this curvature here. Think about relaxing and lengthening a little bit through the low body. You can support the low back by supporting the tailbone a little bit here too, and supporting the back body by supporting the front body. So we are about halfway there. So if you need to make some kind of a little change based on how you went, you can do that. So remember, yin should not be so comfortable to you that you feel like you could fall asleep where you're at. So I kind of feel like I'm starting to get there with this. So I'm going to move my blanket out of the way of where I was. Good. Good. Being mindful of my form. And 40 seconds left, less than a minute. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So carefully take the head back to center if it wasn't already there for whatever reason. Good. In the way that's best for you, good. Find your way out. So for me, I'm just going to take one leg at a time. I'm going to carefully move it back in line vertical to my hip. And then I'm going to take that other leg. Now, if you're lying on top of a prop, you'll want to remove that for a moment. I'm going to give myself a moment here to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. And then when you're ready, knowing you can stay here as long as you want to, we're going to transition onto our backs. So in the way that's best for you to get there, you can get there. And I'm going to use this bolster for my Shavasana. So I'm just going to put it back that way. Good. Now, as I transition onto my back, once I get there, I'm going to bring my knees into my chest. And that will feel real good to those of us that were in the frog pose for a long time. And maybe you want to rock a little bit from side to side. Maybe it would feel good to you to take hands to knees for a moment and make some little circles. And then making some other circles. Good. So from here, we're going to go into some nice twisties to end our practice before final Shavasana. So from here, I'm just going to take my feet down for a moment. I'm going to roll my shoulders under. I'm going to take my right leg long, and this might even feel good taking the right leg long. Let's do something here real quick. So as you take that right leg long, think about you're trying to reach it from the socket. So you're really pressing into that foot, almost like you're trying to press into a wall in front of you, and then let that hip come back. And we'll press one more time. Good. And we'll come back. Good. So I'm going to take my left knee into my chest. I'm holding behind my thigh. You can also hold the shin. I'm going to take my right hand on the outside of that thigh, my left arm to my left. I'm zipping up through that front body. I want to support this back as I rotate and take that knee over towards the right. Now, maybe I can keep my left shoulder grounded as I look to the left. We'll be here for 3 minutes, getting a nice, good twisty session in here. Actually, we're going to take that into 2 minutes. Be mindful of our time. Breathe and expand. Good, about 30 seconds or so. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Head comes back to center. We're going to carefully guide ourselves back to the mat. Good. So I'm just going to let that left foot come down. Good. I'm going to bring that right foot up now. Good. So now we're going to take that little stretchy to the other side. So I'm going to extend the left leg now. Good. And flexing that foot, just press and come back in. And a little bit of a press and come back in. Good. We'll leave that leg long. We'll take that right knee, right leg into the chest. Good. Really pull it in there. Find where you need to grip, behind the thigh or to the shin. Left hand's going to come to the outside of that right thigh. Right arm's going to come out to the side. And we're going to rotate towards the left. Good. And then maybe looking to the right for 2 minutes. Yes, that's right, 2 minutes. Breathe and expand into the rib cage. Good. So I did talk about sports. I will leave the non-sporty people with a joyous thought as well. So maybe think about this is fall, the sound of children and dogs running through the leaves, or maybe the occasional joyous sensation you may have from time to time to walk through leaves, maybe in your own yard or neighborhood, just to hear and feel the crunching sensations. It can be very therapeutic. I do it. Good. And 30 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So carefully, we'll bring that head back to center. Carefully guide that leg back to center as you come back in. Good. We'll let that foot settle down. We'll bring in that other foot. Good. Bring both knees now into the chest. Rock, rock, rock side to side. Let everything reset itself. Good. And we're going to go right into our Shavasana from here. So I am going to use my feet and legs to bring my bolster cushion in here. Maybe. Good. Now, this is how I would like to do my Shavasana today. You might choose a different path. You might be on your side. You might be on your belly. You might use no props at all. Those are all okay. And then once you're ready, see if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable where you are. And I will leave you here to settle in, coming back to the joy, or whatever intention it was you set for yourself. Begin to take some deeper breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of the fingers and the toes. Choose stillness, or maybe taking knees into your chest, choosing to keep the upper body grounded, or maybe you want to tuck that chin and lift that chest into a full body hug. And choosing stillness, or maybe moving any props out of the way you may have used for your Shavasana time, taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips to the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex through the feet, bend and stretch through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. Taking a moment here to pull the reflector when you're ready, coming up to a seat. Good. And sitting how you need to sit. Do you need to sit on a prop? If you're like me, maybe you need to put your hat back on. Good. And then find your nice tall spine, ears, shoulders, and hips. Noticing how you feel now versus when you first started. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen, touching palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Reconnecting with that joyous intention one more time. And we'll take the thumbs to the forehead for good and true thoughts, to our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts, knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you have a wonderful day, the rest of the week ahead. May Kentucky beat Duke. Namaste.